and he'll be talking about our DMOS throughput upgrade.
Thanks, Mike. Yes, this is the new old instrument. This is the newest picture I'm going to show you of the DMOS upgrade. We'll give you a sample price set that's sitting in the clean room at the University of Notre Dame. The purpose of a DMOS throughput upgrade is to give you a better DMOS. I'll tell you all about what that means in a moment, but I want to first introduce the collaboration structure. So this is a collaboration between 4 different institutions: Notre Dame, Caltech, UC Observatories, and Keck Observatory. We have a large team. The separation of labor is roughly given according to here, but pretty much everybody does everything. We're a friendly team. We work well. The purpose of the DMOS upgrade is twofold. First, I want to give you a DMOS that's more efficient. Costs what? $150,000 a night to operate the Keck Observatory. You might as well get your money's worth. And so if we can make a little bit of improvement, you get more photons per open shutter time, then it's very much worthwhile. The DMOS detectors are 25 years old or something like that. And so modern detectors, even like off-the-shelf detectors, provide significantly better quantum efficiency, especially with today's multi-layer broadband astronomy. This is a picture of what the DMOS overplane looks like through the field flattener on one end of the prize current. So these are the old laser lab detectors. They go out. Same price. We built a new prize set. We're going to put that new prize set in with these new detectors that provide an increase in efficiency of up to 80% at 400 nanometers and 100% at 1,000 nanometers. Another reason is that DMOS is getting old and it's been kind of finicky. So there's been a lot of electronics issues with DMOS. If you use DMOS and looked at the news page, you know that CCD5, the one in the top left corner here, is on the fritz. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most recently, one of the FCS CCDs is no longer operational. There's only 2 FCS CCDs, and if you lose both of them, then DMOS doesn't work at all. So we need to replace all that stuff. And that's what the purpose of this thing is. So this is what the current DMOS looks like. You might be familiar with this image from the Keck webpage. I had to mirror image it to actually make it look like our new model of DMOS. So the only thing that has to change inside of DMOS is just the detector substance. It's 5 steps. We're not touching the collimator, we're not touching the gradient, we're not touching the camera, that takes it. We image the light on the detector. We're only touching the prize stack detectors and some of the reflection compensation, which I'll talk about. So taking out this old prize stack system here, which here is represented just by this thing, and replacing it with this new thing. So this new thing here is a modern cryostat. It has a liquid nitrogen canister in it, which is different from the current DMOS. So the liquid nitrogen actually sits outside of the DMOS cryostat. The detectors live all the way up here right at the front of the cryostat. There's a field flattener in here, which is the last powered element of the DMOS camera, but it's actually attached to the cryostat. And this is the only optical element that we're actually changing. These detectors are surrounded by a thick layer of tungsten because these are now going to be 200 micron thick detectors for that good red. That means they're going to have more cosmic rays detected. So we shielded it with these tantalum that will block as many cosmic rays. The tantalum is pretty impressive. Actually, I meant to bring you a piece of it, but I forgot. But the tantalum shield here is about the size of a dinner plate. And if you try to lift it up. So here's an actual picture of what it looks like. Here's the field flattener seen from the inside of it. The gold-looking thing is actually the tantalum. That's the radiation shield. The detectors will sit in there facing down towards the field flattener. Here's what it looks like when the reverse radiation shield and the detector mount is assembled on the back. That electronics board is actually a vacuum interface board. This thing goes inside the vacuum. It's how we route the signals outside of the cryostats, and we avoid the need for these really finicky hermetic connectors. So this is actually an engineering piece. I'm speaking the vacuum in, but it's also an electronics piece to get the signals from the inside. So that VIB, that vacuum interface board, sits there, and it mates to the rest of the cryostat here. So you can take these 2 pieces and you sandwich them together. Here's what the actual cryostat looks like without the front part of it. Without the front part. So this part mates onto there with an O-ring. And the other thing that we're upgrading in addition to the detectors is the flexure compensation. So the flexure compensation system inside of DMOS is truly an amazing piece of engineering. DMOS is like fills up this layer. Like like the size of a school bus, and it rotates 360 degrees to track the sky. Amazing. Despite that, it can keep a spot of light within 1/10 of a pixel. That's 1.5 microns over this 360 degrees of rotation. And right now it's accomplished with some moving parts, including some cryogenic moving parts. This is the X translation stage that moves the detectors inside the cryostat. And when we were designing this, new demos were like, forget that, we're not going to cryogenic moving parts. So instead, we're going to encase the entire cryostat inside the hexapod. It will move the entire cryostat all together. So this hexapod mounts the cryostat here. This part of it floats free, and we move to compensate for the flexure experience inside of the. So here, the fill flattener is just hanging out the bottom. It moves, it floats free, suspended from this ring up here. We can compensate the flexure just by moving the entire cryostat. There's 6 degrees of freedom with this hexapod, so there's lots of different ways we can think about correcting the entire order terms of function. The hexapod is that big. These are real people. Well, Josh is an incredibly tall person, but I should have actually the bigger machine than his. So the next thing that's going to happen, well, right now the cryostat's in the very last phase of the Notre Dame mechanical engineering work. We're going to have our cool down tests in a couple of weeks, and then after that's done, we'll have a pre-ship review to ship the cryostat here to Caltech, where the detectors will be installed. We have this IKEA manual style storyboard of how to put all the detectors inside of the cryostat. And then after that, we're going to ship it to the summit in spring of next year. We're going to take out the old stuff. We're going to put in new stuff. This is actually a foam model to scale of the new Demos cryostat. We call it the wedding cake, or the birthday cake, right? The birthday cake. And we actually made sure that it would fit inside the Demos hatch. So we actually lowered on a crane inside of Demos hatch just to make sure that everything would fit and be maneuverable. Because if we built the thing, we got there and it didn't fit. So the schedule for the Demos upgrades, we're going to have a pre-ship review to go from Notre Dame to Caltech. Then we're going to have an electronics integration at Caltech, meaning put the detectors inside of the cryostat. So right now the detectors, or at least one of the detectors is here, but there are no detectors at Notre Dame. So we're shipping the detectorless cryostat over here. Detectors will be installed here. Everything will be checked out and optimized. We'll have the final pre-ship review around March. And then we'll have the installation commission at the observatory. And then by June, we hope everything goes as scheduled. Next year, Demos will be ready for summer. So if there's any takeaway message you have, by the way, this image I just thought looked cool. It was one of the images I found in the Demos repository. Josh Benson took it. And it just looks really cool. I don't know what it is, but it looks really cool. So the takeaway message is by the end of 2025, yeah, you're going to have a better Demos. If you want to use something for your proposals, you can take the exposure time calculator now and reduce it by this factor here. So that's your takeaway message. Now, I did want to respond. Mike Rich asked me a question yesterday. How does the new Demos compare to ESI? And so instead of paying attention to some of your talks yesterday, my apologies, I decided to make this figure. So this is what ESI looks like. Here's the throughput of ESI. Here's the resolving power of ESI, 5400 with the 0.7 arc second. But Mike, this one's for you. And Demos has efficiency. The new efficiency will be this red line. The current efficiency is the black line. With the 1200 B gradient on Demos, this is what you get in one shot. And the 1200 G gradient, this is what you get in another shot. Notice the y-axis here goes almost up to 30%. ESI is topping out around 5,700 angstroms, or around 23. So Demos will be a lot more efficient. The resolving power in Demos is constant as a function. The resolving power in ESI is in the shell. In Demos, the line thread function. So the resolving power changes from the blue very much. All right, that's it. Thank you very much.